For the most part, we would refer to this as a reverse z-score problem. Because on most of the z-score problems, we're given some data and we're trying to figure out percent or proportion of data. Here, we're given the percent or the proportion of data, and we need to work backwards to find out what that data value is. So when we're looking at this 40th percentile, that means we want to find where down here, what number do we need to have right here so that 40% or 0.4 of the data is over here in this ugly colored area. So what we need to do is we need to start out by going backwards. So we're going to start out and try to find where does that 0.4 show up in the middle of our graph, or in the middle of our table, I should say. So as I look here, I got to start scanning through here until I find a 0.4 in the middle of my table. Now, as I look here, 0.4 comes all the way down here. And a 0.4, I really have 0.4 shows up in between these two. Now, this one here is 13 above. This one here is 26 below. So I'm going to use the one that's closer. That would be this one here. So as you look here, you got to identify which row is that in. That's in this one here. And then you got to identify in which column. And that would be this one here. And so you follow that all the way to the top. And so then we're going to get a negative 0.25. That's our z-score. So now we're going to go ahead and work backwards with this. So I'm going to get rid of my table. So now I'll take my reverse z-score formula, which I have here in red, x equals mu plus z times sigma, or the standard deviation, and I'll start plugging stuff in here. Now, I know my mu, I know my sigma, and I had just figured out my z-score right down here, and I'll take that and plug it in. So rewriting this, plugging everything in, I'll get my 3,485 plus my negative 0.25 times my sigma. That's going to tell me what my x is. And now I'm going to go ahead and type that into my calculator, which gives me this, of which none of those show up over here to the left. However, answer A is extremely close, so we're going to choose answer A. Okay, as we look at this, our 62 right here is our 78 of our mean minus 2 of our standard deviations. So we are our mu minus 2 times the standard deviation. So when you look at your standard normal curve right here, you know 2 standard deviations, 95% is in between here. We want to know what is below. So that's what's just in this tail right here. Well, we know everything underneath the red has to add up to 1. If 95% is in the green, that means each tail then has to add up to a total, or both tails together has to add up to a total of 5%. 5% divided by 2, because each tail is the same, is 2.5%. So that tells us how much is in that lower tail, and that's what we are looking for. Now, looking at the next one, we want to know what is our z, or area underneath our table, that is greater than a negative 1.62. So we got to go ahead and find that on our table. That would be on your table in the back. It's a negative, so that would be your left-hand one. And we need to go ahead and find a negative 1.6 on the left-hand side. The second number over after the decimal point is 2. So we've got to come down that column, go over on this row, and we find that right there. Now, your table A here always tells you what's less than. So I'm going to mark that down.